And welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors. This is my guest in the studio again, William Dorrity, and you're pretty much going to be semi-regular until your court case is over.
Until the court case comes up. Yes.
Okay, good. Now let me check everything. Okay, so William Dorrity. I knew there'd be a call. Here we go. Hello. Wait. We can't hear you. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Who are you?
How are you? Oh, hello.
Is this from your? Is this from the Grandview? Are they calling in?
Is it
Hello? Hello? Hello, caller. I think we lost our caller. Listen, before... Hello? Tell you what, caller, call back. Is that good? Okay. I'm going to drop the call because I can't hear them. You know, sometimes when they're out there in the viewing audience, they're trying to talk and listen at the same time, and they confuse themselves a little bit. Did you tell people to call? Because that's good.
I didn't, but it's very possible somebody did.
Hello? Oh, okay, we lost him.
Tell him to shut his thing
off. So you didn't tell them to call, but they did. But so that's good. We're bona fide. We're not actually setting stuff up. My name is Lydia Radin. Welcome to Crooked Doctors. And some of the stuff that we talk about are the crooked doctors, lawyers, and crooked judges in your neighborhood. Bill Dorrity is a friend of mine from Jersey City, New Jersey. And I used to live in Jersey City. And before we do that, we got to do a little business with America. So I'm going to change the camera view. And what we're going to look at is, oops, just one second. And we're going to look at is, this is MNN, or a Manhattan Neighborhood Network. This is where I broadcast from. And just in case, hold it. Just in case you're out there, usually we broadcast from Manhattan and Brooklyn, but if you happen not to be in Manhattan or Brooklyn, for example, we have friends out in Newark who are working on some of the same issues that we are, and what we do is we direct them to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network website. So if you're out there and you have a computer, you can watch us streaming live, and you just scroll down, and we're right here at the, and by the way, we're not Black Medical. I'll have to correct this. We're Crooked Doctors. We're on Community Channel 1. And if you click right here, let me increase this magnification, you can watch us using your computer screen as a de facto TV screen. So thank you, Manhattan Neighborhood Network. This is where I'm broadcasting from. We stream live on the internet. We broadcast live. And if you go to this website, www.m as in Mary, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy.org, and scroll down, at Community Channel 1. And they did make a little mistake because this is not Black Medical, it's Crooked Doctors. But if you click on Watch Now, let me just increase this. Then if you happen to be out in Newark, and we're working with the Newark Tenants Associations, you can watch us right here. Okay? Everybody got that? So even though we don't broadcast out in Newark, but we're broadcasting from the greater...
Yes, and I just want to... you have to remember, there is an alliance between the Newark Tenants Association and the Jersey City Tenants Association. As a matter of fact, there's an alliance between the state of New Jersey and New York. Now, I just want briefly... Lydia now has been fighting this battle alone for several years. She is no longer alone. She now has allies in senators, public officials, lawyers, tenant leaders across the board in both states. So we're building up a head of steam now, and we certainly have to we will get her issues as well as the court issues resolved. This is a major development.
It's a movement.
A movement, thank you.
It's a movement. And it's a movement. And who's helping us? You know what, we might as well jump in. Right here. Let's go to Matt Shapiro's organization. And this is...
NJTO.
Right. This is the New Jersey Tenants Organization right here.
Well, let me just very briefly
Sure.
explain that. Well, we have something like maybe 6,000 tenants associations throughout the state of New Jersey. Now, the NJTO is the umbrella group, as it were. It's the lobbying arm of the tenants associations in Trenton. One last thing I mentioned before. New Jersey once had the worst tenant-landlord laws in the nation. It now has the best because of the efforts of the NJTO.
So this is Matt Shapiro's organization. I'm just showing it a little bit on screen right now.
NJTO.
And the New Jersey Tenants Organization, this is the best $25 you ever spent in your life.
Absolutely.
This is the best insurance policy you ever bought. And why is this, whoops, here we go. Why is this so important? And how is this related to us?
Well,
you
I
know,
can give you a brief one on
Go
that.
ahead.
Yeah, what it is, the landlords currently are in Trenton lobbying to reverse the good landlord-tenant laws that we already have. Now, we have to counter this major rush by the landlords, and we are doing so. Only the NJTO can confront this issue.
So this is Matt Shapiro's organization. I
Yes.
talked to him. This is their website,
Yes.
and I talked. He's formed a relationship with Eric Martindale
Absolutely.
over at the Newark Tenants United,
Yes.
and you've got the tenants over at the Grandview,
Right.
and
Jersey City Tenants Association.
yeah, the Jersey City Tenants Association.
Yes.
So we formed a group.
An alliance.
That's true. And wait, I'm wondering why my camera views are, hold on, let me just fix something here. Okay. Whoops. I'm wondering why my camera views are,
Delayed.
yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's a lot of information here, so we'll figure it out as we go along. Let me just put this up if you want to give us a call. Okay, so we're Crooked Doctors. We're live with Bill Dorrity from Jersey City, and it's Friday. The Grandview Tenants Association.
Well, Jersey City Tenants Association. Grandview is our base, as you would.
And I'm working on getting a new law passed in Jersey.
Yes.
Or we're all working on getting a new law passed in Jersey where tenants can recover their attorney's fees
Absolutely.
in successful actions
Yes.
against their
Oh,
landlords.
I was wondering if Lydia wanted to mention there will be a film interview of Vince Ansetti,
goody.
my lawyer, next week, and she will certainly post it on her show. You know, so would you address that, Lydia?
Yeah,
If you have it
let me show Vince Ansetti's
card.
card. Here we go. This is Vince Ansetti, and he's your attorney.
Yes,
And you're going through a landlord-tenant action right now.
exactly.
And you're using your landlord-tenant case to drive forward,
Drive legislation
some positive progressive change. So
at the state and the city level.
the state and the city level. And so at the state level, we're lobbying for a new law where tenants can recover attorney's fees too.
Yes.
And on
Senator Stack.
Senator Stack, we'll get to Senator Stack. And on the city level, the Jersey City level, you're lobbying to get
Security guard legislation.
you're lobbying to get security guard legislation.
Yeah, the sponsor of that is Councilwoman Nydia Lopez, much as Senator Stack is sponsor at the state level. She's at the city level. She's going to introduce.
Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty and all the details, what I wanted to do was we have this, we're very grateful because we have the ability to broadcast from Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and there were some people who are helping us, and so they asked for a little time, and you know, the 911 first responders asked me if I would help them, and I did, and we have a reciprocity because they helped me, I helped them.
Right.
So they asked me if I would get them some airtime. I did. I helped him get on, do a little radio. I'm going to go through, how this is kind of related. So let me change the camera view to my mini Mac. Here we go. So this is Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and this is where we're broadcasting from.
Yes.
And the most important thing is exposure to get the word out.
Oh, definitely.
This is a guy named General Robert Caslin, and I actually went up to West Point Military Academy. In my case, I'm going to skip over a lot of stuff, but there's a reason why I'm showing this. Lieutenant General Robert Caslin has my documents from when I visited, and I spoke with his XO. And why is this important? Because he was attacked by this guy. I'm going to go through this kind of Mr. Mikey Weinstein. Mr. Mikey Weinstein of Military Religious Freedom Foundation and I were having discussions. Now, I really like Mr. Mikey Weinstein, and we had discussions about Yeshiva University. Mr. Mikey Weinstein is busy building a great big wall of separation of church and state in the military.
Separation of church and state. I was going to ask you that.
And, as I'm developing my case and I'm looking at a lot of stuff, I'm like, wait a second, Mr. Weinstein, there's something really wrong here. So he went over to Yeshiva University and he asked them for some money, and they didn't give it to him. And, he took a look at Yeshiva University and he's like, Lydia, this school is a bunch of bigots. You should just stop tiptoeing around it and start telling the truth. It's not anti-Semitic to tell the truth. And so we start having these discussions about Military Religious Freedom Foundation, and this guy happens to be the president of Officers Christian Network. So Mr. Mikey Weinstein and I are having all kinds of conversations, which I will get to, but I want to skip forward a little bit. Now, I should tell you this. Here we go. I should tell you this. This gentleman, Lieutenant General Robert L. Caslin Jr., a 3-star, who is president of Officer Christian's Fellowship. When I went up to West Point to talk to his XO, I also stopped in and talked to Brigadier General Patrick Finnegan, who'll hunt me down like a dog and kill me if he can. But I'll get to that later. I'm talking to this guy about, some very significant stuff that I'm talking to, or I'm talking to his XO, and I'm talking to Mr. Mikey Weinstein about this. And one of the things you need to know is that Caslin is a 911 first responder from the Pentagon, and Mr. Weinstein, where's Mr. Weinstein back here? Military Religious Freedom Foundation. See, Mr. Weinstein and I are having this big public debate, and we had this big knockdown, drag-out fight at the U.S. Air Force Academy through emails and voicemails, and I got the pre-med advisor at the U.S. Air Force Academy campus out in Colorado Springs to commit to teaching her cadets how to independently archive their letters of recommendation and their performance evaluations, so that never again would a medical school do to a person what Yeshiva University's medical school did to me, which was lie about my past. And I'll do more of that later. But right now what I promised is, here's my CrookedDoctors channel. And if you go to YouTube, you can get some more information. This is my CrookedDoctors channel. And one of the things that I promised was, we have 911 first responders here in New York, and one of those folks, let me just go down here, is a guy named Alex Sanchez. Now, Alex Sanchez lives in my neighborhood in Washington Heights, and I'm trying to get back to my rent-stabilized apartment in Washington Heights. Yeshiva University's main campus is located in Washington Heights. So, Alex invited me to the 911 first responders are trying to get cancer added to a health care bill. They all inhaled or ingested poisons, and they're trying to get money and different types of cancers added to the health care bill that they've been fighting for like, John Field has been fighting for like 8 years, the whole Congress. There are 911 first responders who, in New York, who inhaled and ingested all kinds of terrible poisons. So I had played and I had showed this video that I made when I went to, they invited me to 26 Federal Plaza, which is the FBI building here in New York. And they had addressed the advisory committee of the World Trade Healthcare Program. And they asked me if I would share, so we're all going to do this together, if I would share their victory. And so you'll join me in saying they got cancer. It's a huge victory. They got about 50 different types of cancers to be added to the legislation that would provide health care to 911 first responders who are developing cancers now and are dying.
You know, would you sort of elaborate on how this ties into the tenants' issues? There is a link here. I mean, you said it yourself, and I haven't been totally clear, and perhaps you could tell our viewers precisely what
you know, in Jersey,
so articulate on this class.
In Jersey City, right, we have 911 first responders.
Absolutely.
And some of the people that I'm working with in Jersey City, who are corrections officers, you know, were called in for duty. So, you know, if one of the things the 911 first responders asked me for was, could you help? We need airtime. Can you provide information, preferably in the form of expert witnesses, which is what I did. Mm-hmm. And the reason why this all ties in is because the healthcare bill is named the Zadroga bill. Okay. And the 911 first responders have experience with crooked doctors because they have their own crooked doctors. Sure. And the bill is named after a guy named Mr. Zadroga, who, you know, everybody said, or they tried to characterize as crazy, when guess what? He's not. He's not. And, you know, all of the 911 first responders, the police, the sheriff, the FBI, the military, the marshals, all have an interest in making sure that crooked doctors, psychiatrists, are honest, because if they're dishonest, as I'm showing in my case, you're going to lose your pension, you're going to lose your job, you're going to use your gun. You know, in Brooklyn, there was a police officer who came forward and was trying to tell the truth about how crime statistics were manipulated. Yes. And they drop-kicked him into a locked psychiatric ward for 6 days and tried to characterize him as mentally ill, when guess what? He's not. He's just telling the truth.
Let me just say one thing about that. With the hospitals, they don't need any reason or a law, as the cops do, to pick somebody up or arrest them.
Oh, they do. That's what we're correcting on this show.
Is that what's going on? Because I know they seem to operate outside the law, and why that is, I don't know how they get away with it.
They very much do operate outside the law, hence this show, showing the laws that protect you from psychiatrists who are running amok and think they can do whatever they want to do. Right. So that's why we've got Crooked Doctors, the show, so I can present, here's how they lied about me, here's how you're going to learn to protect yourself, and their power is limited. But what you touched on was, these are power and control issues. Absolutely. And they've completely run amok. But, so, you know, there's various issues that we talk about. When I was living in Jersey City, you know, they falsified my medical records. This is like outrageous. Why?
They can do that?
Unbelievable. We'll get to this. But right now I promised the 911 first responders and that I would help them celebrate their victory by playing Alex Sanchez's address to the Scientific and Technical Advisory Committee. This happened in February, but I promised that I would say congratulations and play it. This is about a 4-minute, 5-minute video. So
let's shoot it.
So here we go.
There you go.
Here you go, Alex, in Washington Heights. This is for you. Oh, wait. Sorry. I have to, hold on for a second here. I actually have to change something before I play it, so just let me correct the sound, and then we'll go back. Thank you for your patience and understanding, and then we'll get to, okay, let me go back to, okay, so here we go. This is going to be Alex Sanchez's address to the advisory committee. This was in February when they invited me, and let me just punch up the sound a little, and here we go.
Our next commenter is Alex Sanchez.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Alex Sanchez.
Pick up the mic, bro.
Please use the mic.
Perfect. Hold it next to your mouth.
It's good. Good afternoon. My name is Alex Sanchez. I am a 9/11 responder, cleanup worker. On September 11th, I had a very close encounter with terror. I was standing not very far from where this building is today. On September 13th to March 15th, I performed cleanup with other cleanup workers in skyscrapers surrounding the pit. 10 buildings in a period of 6 months. 12-hour days, 7 days a week. Some of the buildings I worked in included 1, 2, 3 World Financial Center. I had ringside seats to what police officers, firefighters were doing at Ground Zero. When I went past those barricades, as a citizen, as a New Yorker, I knew what was expected of me. When men and women started getting sick and dying, I also knew what was expected of me. Since late 2003, early 2004, I've been walking the halls of Congress alongside many of the men and women who are in this committee and who are also here today. John Field, my mentor, president of the Feel Good Foundation, an officer and a gentleman, paratrooper, United States Army. We do not leave ours behind. What message are we sending to future generations and to the international community when we overlook and not appreciate the work and the efforts of those who served at Ground Zero? Let me give you some facts. Basically, you should know these by now. 70% of the men and women who came to Ground Zero are suffering from lung disease, chronic gastric disease, post-traumatic stress disorder. I'll give you another example. Jim Ryan, John McNamara, both are on the same office, Senator Lieberman. 2 months later, I asked my assistant director, Manon Checo, who is this gentleman? John McNamara, disintegrated in a period of 2 months. We don't need bigger government or smaller government. What we need is responsible government. Government that takes care of the people, enforce and enact laws, current laws. I am a single father of an amazing 10-year-old. This is not the message I want to send to my son. My country cannot get it right. 10 years down the road, cancers are killing the men and women who came to Ground Zero. Exposure science tells us that when you are exposed to high level of toxicity, you need 15 to 25 years of medical treatment. We only got 5. We cannot continue to play games with human life. We need to stand up. We need to serve those who serve our country. We shall never forget, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Sanchez.
Okay, so congratulations, Alex Sanchez.
Alex is great.
On getting 50 different kinds of cancers added to the Zadroga bill. And congratulations, John Field. And I set up a couple YouTube sites, some video sites, so they know that I'm a phone call away.
Oh, wow.
And and I'm setting up a YouTube site for you too. So when Bill speaks at the Jersey City Council and we hold them accountable.
Oh, we've had video. Oh, yes, YouTube's of the Jersey City Council, and Lydia was speaking, I was speaking, and certainly if she could put that on the air for you people just to see what goes on here.
And so we're starting to get our movement going.
Isn't that great? And
we have YouTube sites. You know, when we go to the Hudson County Freeholders meetings, we tear up the blaze.
Well, she's good at that.
Oh, here we got a caller. Maybe this will be my super fan. Hello.
Darling, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. How's Bill doing, Bill?
Bill, say hello to my super fan.
How you doing, Bill?
Super fan. How are you today?
It's pretty good.
Great to hear your voice.
How's Mrs. Povanetti?
Oh, I got to tell you know, some of
the apartment, or they throw her out yet?
Oh no, we had to. Oh my God, I haven't slept in like 2 days. We had to go to court today. It was knocked down, drag out, and I'm going to give you the full report.
Shoot.
Well, not now because there's other stuff I want to do. But the bottom, and I got to talk to Mrs. Povanetti. But this poor little old lady, boy, the landlord takes advantage of her. Her kids take advantage of her. We had to sign a stipulation. We were talking before the show, right?
We were.
Oh. We were talking about how necessary some of these laws are that were getting passed in Jersey because, you know, I was in court this morning with the landlord's attorney, the evil Harriet Polinsky, who hates my guts at this point. You know, they were trying to draft contracts that were totally illegal. They didn't care about the law. They were just like, what can we get away with?
Sure.
And me and the other attorneys and members of Mrs. Povanetti's congregation are like fighting back. You know, but they would take ruthless advantage of you.
They're heartless.
So we had to, we settled Mrs. Povanetti's case, and boy, was that a nightmare.
Oh, you mean they gave her all her paperwork and everything else?
There are a lot of twists and turns in the litigation.
Harriet there?
But, you know, there is one really good thing I wanted to report because, you know, 95% of the time I'm talking about the crooked doctors, the crooked police, the crooked judges, but there is one real, so I should say something nice, right?
Please.
So I'm going to say something nice now. I ran a little test. I did a little experiment. And every time that the judge in my case, she hates my guts, by the way, the presiding,
you know a judge that likes you?
Oh, she sneers at me when she comes in. You know, at 10 o'clock in the morning, she comes in and she sees me and she sneers. Because I had to go over her head to her supervising judge.
Oh, they love that.
No, but Judge John Lanson is actually a very good judge.
Is he?
Yeah, actually. Because what I did was every time I had a problem with her, you know, every time we were getting shut down and the attorneys were lying and you know, they're pulling every dirty trick in the book, I'd go over her head to the supervising judge, Judge Lanson, and then something, you know, right and moral would happen. And I'm like, But at the same time I would go to him, I would also go to the U.S. Attorney's Office. So I wasn't sure who the moral force was. Is this the judge or the U.S. Attorney's Office? So this time when I submitted papers, I submitted it to the supervising judge, John Lanson, and I held back a little from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I got good results. So I'm inferring from this, from running this little field test, that supervising judge John Lanson is a good guy.
Sure.
So here you go, Flatbush.
Absolutely.
If you're in trouble in landlord-tenant court, you go straight to supervising judge John Lanson.
Straight to judge.
So is that good?
It's nothing like some good news among the 36 other cases that you're dealing with right now.
And there is one really good attorney I found who's handling one of my cases for me, and everybody wants to know who he is, and I refuse to tell them because I'm afraid he's going to be corrupted. But I found one good attorney, and your attorney is pretty good too.
Oh, absolutely, Vince Ansetti.
Oh yeah, let's look at
show his card again,
I
folks.
think he's an Italian. He's got to be good.
Vince Ansetti. Yeah, let's get his card up there again.
Blow it up.
So how are you, superfan?
I don't know. I was walking around before and I saw evil Harriet out on the street.
Boy, does she hate me. She hates.
She was kicking a homeless
No
man
use for you.
right down there on the street corner.
She hates me like you would not believe. You would not believe we had to stipulate to everything so we could settle the case. It turned into a nightmare. Well,
you know what they say, in the halls of justice, the only justice is in the halls.
Good one, Ben.
Well, we'll see about that. Well, let me just switch to let me just switch to, here's Vince Ansetti.
Yep.
Do you like Vince? Do you think he's a good guy?
Is he Sicilian or Neapolitan, you know?
Yeah, is he Neapolitan or Sicilian?
Is he
You
what?
know? Vince, right here. See, I
Yeah,
got
there
Vince
he
up
is. There he is. He's
Hi,
handling
Vin-
my case. Yes.
Yeah. No, we had meeting. He's actually a pretty good guy, and
She will have she's doing a film interview with Vince. Pretty soon you'll be able to see him on her show.
yeah, I'm going to try to do a. I'm going to
His
bring my camera
office.
to his office, and see if I can film an interview with him, so he can go over some of the details of Bill's case.
Sure.
Because Bill's trying to get independent cameras in the courtroom.
Right.
He's trying to get
Attorney
tenants'
fees.
rights to recover attorney's fees, because he's, you know, Vince is like, don't worry, you're going to win this case.
Absolutely.
And he's trying to use his case to drive forward.
Legislation.
Why doesn't the judge say this is such a ridiculous case? Why do you bother the court with taking up its time with this stupid nonsense that he's letting strangers into the building and all of this? I don't get it. I mean, aren't the courts crowded enough with enough crap that they got to bother with this poor man? I don't understand it.
Well, you know, good question. Thank you. I know we ask those questions ourselves, and you know, dragging you into this is part of the harassment. And I'm glad you brought this up, Superfan,
It's
because
retaliation.
yeah, it is, and it's harassment and retaliation. Because I was told that when I talked to Matt Shapiro this week,
Yeah.
you know, I'm starting to get admissions of guilt. What happened to you, Lydia, was wrong. It was outrageous. Your landlord is dangerous.
I'm sure you tend to wear people down, so that's why you're getting it.
No, I hammer them with the evidence. And, you know, when you get the evidence over and over and over again, then people have to face
well, that's
it.
what
No, I have to tell Ben,
ahead.
you're right. The policy of landlords is to wear you down. First of all, they have all the resources, and you as an individual have nothing, you see. So, but somehow or other, Lydia has prevailed. I don't know how, but all these years she has prevailed.
No idea how she does it. The first thing I ever said to her on TV was, "Why is everybody picking on you? Why
Because I'm being persecuted by Yeshiva University's crooked doctors. And because I refused to sign a contract releasing the crooked doctors at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University, I refused to sign a contract releasing them from liability. And 3 steps behind me, they're stalking me through life.
And
these
you're
people
looking to move back to Washington Heights? Did you say that?
Yeah, well, I have a.
Isn't it dangerous up there?
Yeah, it is, especially with Detective
Why are
Cologne.
you fighting to get back up there? I thought you were living in Brooklyn.
I was with Mrs. Povanetti, but that's not my home. My home is in Washington. I'm not backing down. My home is in Washington Heights. I have a red stabilized. I have a red stabilized apartment. When I get my apartment back in Jersey from the illegal eviction, I'll have another
You
place.
got more apartments than Trump.
Pardon me?
I said you got more apartments than Donald Trump.
I know. We
She's
have
all
to.
over the place.
We have to call
Let me
Donald
tell
Trump,
you.
by the way. We have to call his
Donald Trump. Yeah.
his organization, because why? One of the things I want to answer really quick is, you know, I was starting to get admissions of guilt, like, look how Jersey City Medical Center has falsified my medical
There you go.
records. You know, look how
Judge Patterson's not going to admit anything.
Judge Patterson?
Yeah.
Oh, he has to.
Him or his secretary.
No, he has to. The U.S. Marshals are so embarrassed now. I feel so bad for them. One in particular. But no, there's a couple really good U.S. Marshals, I have to say. When I was at Rikers Island, had a couple U.S. Marshals.
They jumped your mother and your mother's boyfriend? Or
Pardon
just
me?
your mother's boyfriend?
Ask me again?
Did they jump just your mother? Or your
No,
mother
the
and
U.S.
her
Marshals
boyfriend?
didn't do that. I was physically assaulted at Jersey City Medical Center by security.
Right, you were put in that locked ward for 4 days.
Yeah, right, exactly. That was because my landlord, you know, goaded by my medical school, and actually, the referral source is Judge Rodriguez.
Okay.
So we're going to go over the high points of the case against Judge Rodriguez. A lot of this was done to cover up what was going on in my landlord-tenant case and to cover up federal student loan fraud. But no, I survived at Rikers Island, and one reason I survived at Rikers Island was because the marshals showed up twice. And when I was fighting my way out of Rikers Island, they were a phone call away. So there are some really decent U.S. Marshals, and I want to say thank you to them. One U.S. Marshal in particular, who's you know, a really good woman, and had she not believed me and not said and done, and volunteered her time in the
Slam
beginning.
dunk, you'll be finished.
No, I would be dead today.
Yeah.
I would also be dead if it wasn't for a few inmates at Rikers who had experience with the corrupt system and put a stop to a few things too. So thank you to them also.
I'm thinking, I mean, you should. I mean, there's an HBO movie in all of this over there.
Oh, please! I got 3 movies, 4 PhD.
Or the book,
a book.
The book should be called like Raiden on Rikers.
Oh, please! One of the things that's really good, and one of the reasons I was persecuted, I'm glad you brought this up, is because, and I'm going to show him again.
Bill is smiling. I finally got the guy smiling. Doesn't look like he was smiling all day.
No, well, we got some pretty serious issues to deal with, but one of the PhD theses that I have, it happens to be, and the Orthodox Jewish community doesn't like this, but just tough. Do you ever take a day off? No, I can't. I'm trying to. I have cases to win here. I don't have.
What do you do like on Sundays?
Oh, on Sundays is catch-up day.
When the courts are closed.
Sundays are like catch-up day.
Do your homework.
Right. This is the Israeli lobby and U.S. foreign policy. I have a PhD here. So no, seriously, I called this guy. See this guy over here, yeah. Dr. Walt over here at Harvard. I'm calling this guy saying, something. I think I've stumbled on. He wrote this this paper, the Israeli lobby and U.S. foreign policy.
Yeah, right. They're both married together, the two of them.
No, actually, this is you can go to the website. If you Google this, you can find this. It's a real easy read. And so as I was going through this, and I'm there's legal research that I was doing in my case, I said, hey, wait a minute. Foreign policy does not exist without domestic policy, and I think I sort of stumbled on this, but I think I'm writing the natural sequel to your book, and I think what I really got here is a PhD thesis. Can I come up to Harvard and talk to you about this? And I'm making plans to go up and talk to him, and the next thing you know, I'm drop kicked into Rikers Island.
Believe me, 2 months from now, you'll be suing him for something.
No, I would not. No, he's a very interesting guy, and
I'm sure he is.
And some of the information that I put into my court papers, some of the stuff that was going into my court papers was, I didn't mean to stumble into this PhD thesis, but I did. So a lot of this is in my court papers where I'm talking about the Bob Jones University case, and then I stumble across these generals these Christian generals who are being persecuted, and I call up Mr. Mikey Weinstein, and I'm talking to these academics and attorneys, and I used to work on a lot of college campuses, so I'm double and triple checking all this.
Okay. And
then there's these 6 Christian ministers that are getting persecuted, so I go down and I run a couple this past Senator Grassley, who yes, I really met in person.
That's amazing.
So I am developing this PhD thesis that the Jewish community in America doesn't like, so they want me to shut up. That was the purpose of saying.
Yeah, once you write it, I mean, if they control the media, how are you going to ever get it published?
Very good, and we'll get to that later because I wrote a field manual on that for some candidates out in Hudson County who had the same problem. Mm-hmm. But we've got about 20 minutes left, and there's a couple there. I want to read Eric Martindale's statement and some other stuff, but it wasn't the U.S. Marshals who physically assaulted me. It was the security guards at Jersey City Medical Center.
Right.
And I finally got some admissions of guilt.
But you said they assaulted your mother too, right?
No, my mother's
boyfriend.
No, they assaulted my mother's boyfriend. The two of us went down to Jersey City Medical Center together to say, why do you keep coming to the house? Why are you harassing us? We're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
And they grabbed him so he couldn't protect me. And they physically assaulted me. They did physically assault him, but my mother and her boyfriend have been terrorized, and they think that if they just run away, everything will be okay. You've got to realize my mother came from a communist country where the police really do show up at your door.
Exactly.
And they really do murder you.
Yeah, but you're the complete 180. You're just attacking everything.
I'm not attacking everything.
The lawyers are crooked. The doctors are crooked.
Yeah.
The politicians are crooked. Everybody's crooked. The Korean.
Well, Ben, everybody is in cahoots at one level or another. That's the way the system works, Ben.
Yeah, well, I think the trick is to stay off their radar, and they'll find other fish to fry. You know.
Well, you know something, I didn't mean to get high on their radar. Once again, the only thing I knew was, gee, I'm going to medical school, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University.
No, it's amazing how, you know, with all your problems, you look better every week, though. What do you do? Who does your makeup? You got lipstick and
I look like, you know, before they did this to me, I looked like 100 times better than I do right
Really?
now.
I mean, people back to your old. I'm going to go back. I'm going to look on YouTube to some of your old shows. I mean, you look like you were hit by a bus then.
I just got out of Rikers. It was horrible.
Right. You had that same outfit on every single week for, I don't know, I think you said...
Do you think I care? I have a police detective who lied on the witness stand.
Yeah,
do you think I cared what I look like? I'm walking the streets of Manhattan, though, and 3 steps behind me is a police detective who lied to put me in Rikers. You know, I'm like, does the attack come today? I really was physically assaulted. They really did lie to put me in prison. Now, finally, I had to fight my way out. You know, 3 steps behind me is what? The honest cops from the NYPD. I'm like, when does the attack come?
Right.
You know, you should live in
better than the
fear.
Hatfields and the McCoys.
Pardon me? It's not the Hatfields and the
movies.
No, this is not the Hatfields and McCoys because I did nothing wrong. I'm the one who's being stalked. I'm the one who's being harassed. I'm the one who was almost murdered. And that's why they can't deal with it at Jersey City, because it's premeditated, attempted murder. They knew exactly what they were doing every step along the way.
Pretty much one-sided their issue, yes.
Yeah. But listen, Ben, you know, you're my super fan, and I really appreciate your calling, but there's about 10 or 15 minutes left.
All right, go ahead. Go. Enjoy yourself. I want to see how
You're going to call me next week, though, aren't you? Because I'll miss you if you don't call.
All right.
Promise?
Oh, yeah, I'll call you.
Okay.
All right.
Here for you, Ben.
Take it easy, my friend.
Right.
Right.
So we want to tie all this together.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do. That's your job here.
And the other interesting aspect of all of this is, hello.
Hi.
Are you the caller who called last week?
Yeah, no, I didn't call last week, but I just want to tell you that I watch your show every week.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say that you give hope to a lot of people who really understand the way things really are and who feel like they're ready to give up or they're at the end of their rope because they know that they've been faced with all these different things, and it seems like it's impossible for anyone to believe them because it seems like they try to make you seem like you're crazy or something because you are dealing with so many different entities that don't seem to be connected, but they are. And I just wanted to thank you for that.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
I'm a black woman. I live in Harlem, and there's so many different things that we have to contend with all the time. And if you speak out or say anything, right away it's like you're the nutcase, you're the crazy person. And I'm just so happy to see you empowering not only yourself but other people by just being there and speaking out every week. And I've been following the stories you've been telling, and it's really, really true. And I just really wish more people would pay attention. It's really important. We are really under fire here by a lot of different forces. So I just still wanted to tell you that I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. And you know, one of the reasons why I really want to go back to Washington Heights and to Harlem is because you don't have to explain the racism to me. I say this to my friends in the African American community. You don't have to explain white racism, white on black racism to me because I'm living it. Even Mr. Mikey Weinstein says, Lydia, you're living through the racism. It's persecution from some racist Zionists against you who are not Jewish, and that's not anti-Semitic to tell the truth. But you don't have to explain the racism to me. I'm living through it. I get it. And if you go to Harlem, what you experience in Harlem and in Washington Heights is here's a group of people who have suffered horribly, and the racism, the hatred is so bad, it's so intense, they want you to die, but this group of people is not going to die. And so what they do is there's this energy there, and there's this creativity that comes out because we are not going to die. It doesn't matter what you put us through. We are going to create art. We're going to make music. We're going to make it work. We're going to survive with whatever we have. You know, it's even at Rikers, you know, you will not kill us. Whatever we have. And, you know, I hate to say this because, you know, I'm dealing with these generals, so I'm supposed to be honest, but we'll beg, we'll borrow, we'll steal if we have to, but we're not going to die. So you get that from Harlem. That's why it's a really great place to live.
Well, you know, I'm glad to hear you say that, because not too many people recognize the history and the energy and the fight that it's taken to even just survive.
Yeah.
To keep everything going. And it's so important and vital, because there are people who are suicidal. You know, I mean, literally suicidal because of the things that they have to contend with all the time. And it's like, if you don't have voices like yours out there, you know, and active and speaking out and fighting, they will give up. So don't stop what you're doing. You know,
Thank you very much.
Watching you.
Thank you. And you know something, you folks,
in support of what you're doing.
Thank you very much. And you know what you folks should do? You should catch a train, the one train up to West 145th Street any Saturday morning and take a look around. Go visit Reverend Sharpton at the National Action Network, because I'm a member and I owe them $35 in dues. I'll be up to pay my dues as soon as I can. But go up there and look around, because they're you know, the neighborhood's improving. It's thriving. It's dynamic. There's a great deal of creativity and vitality, and you're not going to kill us. We are not going to die.
The squeaky wheel gets
Well, you keep on keeping on, and you keep doing what you're doing, because we need you. And don't give up. And remember, you're not the crazy one. Even though they're trying to make it seem like you are, you're not the crazy one. These people are psychotic.
Some of them really are.
They really are. They're literally psychotic.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
They're sociopaths, and they're psychotic.
Yes, they
and
are.
They have no feeling for human beings. So don't think that you're alone. We definitely understand where you're coming from.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, you take care.
Thank you. What a cutie pie.
All right.
Okay.
We're moving on now?
Yeah,
okay.
we got to get to what
issues.
We got to get to some of the issues. Oh, another caller. Hello. Thank you for calling. Hello. Hello.
Interference somewhere.
Hello. Okay, they'll call back. Call back. All right. So we've got what I was talking about too is not only do I have a PhD from, you know, I could propose a PhD with the Israeli lobby and U.S. domestic policy, but one of the things that that I was trying to talk about, and I learned this when I was a student at Columbia, was I have another PhD, which is there was a study done in the late. I'm going to get through this fast because I still want to get to your issues. You're going to be a regular guest.
No,
anyway,
go ahead.
But there was a study that was done in the late 70s. Oh, we have another caller. Hello.
Same one.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, this is Mr. Valentino. I'm a first responder, volunteer services. Yeah, you want me to put my TV lower? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And you're a 911 first responder, and you wanted to say something. Be my guest. Go ahead.
No, what happened was, I got friends of mine at the 2-4 precinct. He did retire now. Got like 23 years in.
Mm-hmm.
Called me one day. You want to do some work? So mom is getting voted in. So they're having a thing by Sylvia's. It's a restaurant.
Okay.
I was doing traffic control.
Mm-hmm.
I have an emergency vehicle, my own. I purchased it myself, had it built.
Okay.
And when I went to the World Trade Center, I got a plaque.
Okay.
Plaque was federal law enforcement plaque.
Okay.
That we assist federal agents, police, fire, and different agencies to their family. We help out.
God bless you.
I had a fight with somebody in the neighborhood. What are you doing there? What do you think? You're a cop? You want to be? So I've been doing this since I was 16. I'm 65 now. So they call the white shirts. Those are the captains, the sergeants. They sent the CIA that was there down the block on 126th Street between Lenox and 5th.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And after they sent the cops, They called the CIA. They came down. They put a bomb squad dog around. They said, he's clear. What do you want to do with him? So the sergeant, I found out he was retiring. He wants to get points. My friend told me, don't say nothing, just go. They arrested me. How they going to give me the key for my vehicle? I got 500 horsepower, diesel, 350 vehicle. You know, it's a Hummer-like. And he gives me the key, go to the corner. My men will pick you up there. Get out of the vehicle, gave him the keys, put the cuffs on me. He let me drive the car. It's kind of stupid. He made a block.
Are you facing criminal charges now?
No, what happened was I beat it because I showed ID. They wanted to know where I got the plaque. They had a plaque division. He says, listen, we know you're a good guy. I had the World Trade Center shirt on. I had specially made. I had my own uniform. And they called me in. They had me in this cage. The cop says, you shouldn't even got arrested. I'm ashamed. Here, call your friend at the 2-4 that you're helping out for traffic for Obama.
Okay.
Okay. He gave me his cell phone. I called. He says, listen, give me back. I got to put it back in your personal property. He says, I'm going to take the cuffs off you. Go into your room. 2 guys want to talk to you.
Okay.
And he says, all right, no problem. I'll talk to them. And he took the cuffs. He just keep your hands behind your back. Make believe they had the cuffs. They know it was nothing with nothing. Meanwhile, I got a dismissal type of thing where 6 months stay out of trouble and all that's garbage. But I had to go through trials and tribulations. They wanted to give me a fine. I had to plead guilty. Meanwhile, the lawyer I had was a very nice guy, but his wife had a baby. You know the whole situation. His partner came.
So when did this happen?
It happened about 3 years ago. But it's still in my mind. It's the 2A precinct. They're the ones arresting me. I had to get my brother to drive my vehicle. I have a 10,000-pound vehicle, emergency vehicle. You know, it's worth a lot of money. And my brother never drove it. And he had to go through trials and tribulations.
So again, why were they arresting you? What was the reason?
They said forged instrument, fake plaque. Meanwhile, they want to know where I got it from. I said I got it from a federal agent, the World Trade Center. I was there. He gave it to me to put in my vehicle. He said, don't worry about it. He says, I got your number, everything's all right. And he gave me an ID. And he got a picture. The next day he came and gave me a picture with my picture with the ID. So they told the judge, he has an ID. That's him on it. So
what you're saying is you're a 911 first responder. You had a plaque.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm a volunteer. I went there on my own. But I looked official. I dressed official. I talked. Because my father was a detective, K-9, private, and my brother was APO, that's an auxiliary police officer.
You know, I think it's irrelevant when something like 911 happens, whether you're official or a volunteer. I think they just need people to help. Yeah, I put my hands in the dirt and the garbage. I got sick of it. Now I go 3 stories in the building carrying some potato sacks, say, hypothetically, and I used to be a weightlifter. My lungs, my back hurts, and yeah, I was about to ask you really quick. How's your health as a 911 first responder?
Well, 2 years after it happened, because I was there on Christmas. 2 years after that, I felt sick. I got sick, but psychologically, because I had bipolar. Because you know the emergency things you do and jumping around, it affects you. But I tell you, when you got bipolar, it makes you stronger, and it makes you work and help people that need you.
So listen, are you in contact with any of the organizations like John Field's organization or?
Oh no, I'm not.
Maybe you should be. You know, they're a good support network. Do you have access to the internet?
Well, I don't, but my brother does.
So Google the Feel Good Foundation, and John Field has a lot of information there. In fact, I could pull it up really quick.
Is that for the thing for the hospital for the World Trade Center?
Yeah, but he's, John Field has an organization for 911 first responders.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. I was at Bellevue Hospital. They gave me some numbers, and they told me a hospital uptown to go there. They strictly do responders only. And he says, get ready for a 4-hour test, but you got to call in, identify yourself, tell me you're a responder, and then they'll make an appointment. You go right down, 4-hour test, and then you can be registered.
Yeah, you know something, as long as you brought this up, I might as well show the Feel Good Foundation. But yeah, I'm showing it on screen now. Do you see this on screen now?
Yeah, I see it, right. I can see it from here. My phone is like 10 feet away from the.
So this is John. This is John Field's the Feel Good Foundation. They've got all kinds of information here. Go on this website, and get involved with this community, because these are the folks that are fighting to get health care and make sure that everybody who is down there in 911.
I can get it, but psychologically I didn't go out of the house for 3 years. After that, 4 years. I went out 1 day, 2 days, a week, and then I came back. I just didn't like, I lost my spirit.
Yeah, well, you got to get in touch with this organization, because there's a whole community out here of folks. And, Alex Sanchez also, where do you live right now?
The Lower East Side, Manhattan, Manhattan.
Okay, so get in touch with these folks. They're 911 first responders. They formed a community. They have all kinds of resources available. I think John Field personally referred like 1,000 911 first responders to attorneys who help them get disability, who help them access, the kind of resources that are there. So there's no reason for you to be out there alone. Here's John Field. Get in touch with his organization. Alex Sanchez runs an organization, United We Stand. He deals with the
but let me ask you this. Right after that all happened, like I got so many tickets, because my plates were U.S. rescue plates. I had on my plates. I had them done, and legally. And after that, I started getting a lot of tickets. I got over $7,000 worth of tickets. I paid with fines. I didn't have the money, and the economy was bad. I do traffic control for Local 17 upstate. I was doing, and for the construction sites. And I know when I see an accident, I'm just like.
Listen, I hate to cut you off, but we're about to run out of time here.
If I give you my number off the air, would it be possible? Or I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
You got my number there now, right? On the ID.
No, actually I don't. But they might have it into the studio. But I'll tell you what. Why don't you email me at CrookedDoctors?
No, I don't even bother with the email and all that. I got bipolar, and I get really, I just got Social Security. I got a whole bunch of HME.
I'll tell you what, call MNN, call the Manhattan Neighborhood Network at the front desk, and leave your name and phone number at the front desk, and I'll pick it up.
MNN?
Yeah, Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Call them Monday through Friday between 9 and 5, and I'll pick up your number, and then I'll call you back, okay?
You have the number?
I don't have it with me, but call information and ask from Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Right.
I usually have it in my book, but I don't have my book right here with me.
And I got the witness, like the officer from the 2-4 precinct that retired.
I'll tell you what, you call the front desk at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and leave your name and phone number. Say it's for Lydia Radin from CrookedDoctors. I'll pick it up on Monday, and then I'll give you a call back. Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am. God bless.
All right, thank you. Okay, so. Okay. Before we get too far off the beaten trail here. Okay, so, well, you're going to have to come back now.
Oh, you're going to come back.
We're going to have to talk about, here's what he's working on in Jersey. Okay, so I'm in Jersey. I'm being persecuted by my medical school. I'm fighting the good fight, and I carried the ball for a while. Now you're...
Yes, no, she's been alone for these many years, but now she has allies. And certainly with my court case, there's a breakthrough. And we're going to get this show on the road. We not only have senators, we have councilmen, we have tenant leaders.
We have one decent attorney at least.
Yeah, on both states, and certainly this is a great opportunity for her to move along with her case, because the impetus is now there, and we're dynamic, and will you trust
we're a movement. We started a movement.
Moving ahead.
We'll get into this a little bit more next week.
Sure, we will.
You want independent cameras in the courtroom.
Courtroom, attorney fees.
The single best protection you can have.
Absolutely.
If there were independent cameras in the courtroom, there's no way that police detective Cologne.
No manipulation, right?
Okay. Well, we didn't get through everything because we're a little overambitious.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to come back.